So welcome to our fifth and final Learn, Explore, Debate event. So I'm Gill Holden. I'm the Principal Officer for the Early Childhood Unit here at the National Children's Bureau, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this morning's Learn, Explore, Debate event. As you probably know, National Children's Bureau delivers these events in our capacity as the Department for Education stakeholder engagement partner for the early years sector. So these events bring together a wide range of people, from early years practitioners, academics, local authorities, independent consultants, and people from all over. And we're delighted that we've got so many of you joining us this morning for this focus on wellbeing and mental health. There's no getting away from the fact this round of LED events are being delivered very differently to the ones we're used to. Firstly, of course, we're just come out of the second national lockdown, and we've all gone into our various different tier levels across England. So obviously we're conducting today's event virtually online. Thank goodness for Zoom. What did we do before Zoom, or what would we have done in this situation? So sadly, we're not able to come together face to face as we usually do, and we'll miss that human closeness that we normally get, that opportunity to have a chat over a cup of coffee, etc. And this is a real shame, but we hope that through this opportunity of connecting virtually, is a word I'm trying to say, that we can still have that opportunity to network with each other. So secondly, we feel that the early years sector at this time has been asked to dig deeper than ever before. I'm a great passion for early years, as you know, any of you on here who know me will know. But this year, I think we've dug much deeper than ever before. You know, early years provision has been kept open throughout that first lockdown for key workers and vulnerable children, and then wider reopening to all children, and then keeping going throughout a second national lockdown. And I know that many settings have been really affected by this. Sadly, some settings have closed throughout the lockdown periods. But we believe that there's been nothing short of a heroic effort from everybody, and we hope the whole nation will come to recognise this as such. We know how tired you must all be, and I think one of the things that's the most difficult to cope with is the continuing uncertainty. You know, we've never experienced a world pandemic before, and so things are being constructed as we move along and through this, as we find the way through. So that's one of the reasons that we're really delighted to be bringing to you today's sessions that are going to focus on your own well-being, as well as that of those of the staff in settings and obviously of the children. So little bit about NCB. So we bring together organisations to drive change in society and to deliver a better childhood for the UK. That's one of our overarching aims. We're great believers in collaborative working and in convening, bringing people together. So we care passionately about high quality, inclusive early years sector. And as such, we champion early years professionals and the great work they do. And like I say, working in partnership with children, parents and professionals is key to our role. So our role as DfE strategic partner for early years, we deliver the latest information on early years policy. We do that through the foundation years community. So I'm hoping that you have already found the foundation years community as soon as you found your way to this event, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. But this slide here just shows our aims through this partnership, and it's around improving practitioner knowledge and understanding, improving confidence in early years professionals, and that facilitation of healthy debate between the DfE and the sector for policy and practice improvement. And that's one of the things that we're going to have opportunity to do today. So the foundation years community have been doing other things throughout the pandemic as well. We've tried to keep the community connected with the latest information and advice that's been coming out from government. And we've done that through vodcasts, through news flashes, through social media and through our COVID-19 hub. And we know it's been a huge challenge to keep on top of things. The rules that have kept changing, as I say, because we're discovering how we need to respond to a pandemic, etc. And we know that there's been a huge amount of information for everybody to absorb. We've issued over 20 news flashes on the COVID-19 updates alone. So your efforts in also keeping you up to date with that, I'd like to recognise that as well, and thank you all, and appreciate that this has been a really tough road to walk. We also want to recognise the hard work of the officials in the Department for Education and across government, who we know are working flat out to provide you with the clarity that you need. In addition to our COVID-19 hub, we're also continuing with our day-to-day jobs, providing you with access to high quality official information on vodcasts on key subjects such as the new development matters and other latest news from across the sector. And they can all be found on the website. So you can see here on the screen various links of how to find out about us and how to get in touch with us. So the theme for today's agenda. So in July 2020, the Early Childhood Unit that I work with undertook a survey, and we wanted to find out more about how early years settings were preparing for autumn and what support we felt would be most useful. We asked a question about what settings felt were most important for supporting under fives in the autumn term, and we got a staggering 94% of people that stated emotional health and well-being was their top priority. And that's why we're delighted to have worked with the Department for Education to focus this event on putting well-being at the heart of our early years practice. And by that, we mean well-being, children's well-being and staff's well-being. We'd like to recognise the department has listened and agreed to the theme for the events in response to what the sector was telling them. So at 3 hours long, these events are much shorter than normal. We know that it's a challenge staying on a virtual screen for so long, and we also understand the pressure on your time. So you've all had the agenda in advance, so I won't go through this slide here now in detail, but just to sort of say that we've tried to include a mix of latest evidence on the subject, some case studies from frontline practice, and some chance to be able to discuss and connect with one another in some breakout rooms. So some technical bits, and I'll just check that I make sure I get my notes and directions right on this. So you should all have received a Zoom guide in your reminder email, and that includes some information about the functions of Zoom, including how to change your name and how you can participate in the breakout sessions, but we'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along. So we would ask, please, that you keep your microphone muted and your video off during the main session. I understand this can cause, if we have everybody's on, sadly it can cause Zoom to crash, which we definitely don't want. However, when it comes to the breakout sessions, please do turn on your microphone and your camera if you have those facilities to be able to do that. We've found through our other events that really helps people connect and to be able to share together. In your menu at the bottom of your screen, you should see a chat button, and by clicking that, it will open up the chat where you can talk to each other, you can share links of good practice, etc. And I can see I've got the chat going on my other screen here. I can see that's already busy away, talking about people from various soggy areas of the country. So I'm actually coming to you from Halifax in West Yorkshire, and I can vouch for the fact it's equally soggy here. And I understand we're due a flurry of snow later. Okay, so with the chat function, we're going to do our best to keep an eye on that, but we can't guarantee that we will be able to pick up all the questions in there throughout the period of the webinar, but we will make sure that we pick up on all of those at some point, and there will be opportunity to ask DFE colleagues and myself and NCB colleagues things in the breakout rooms as well. We are recording the presentations, and we'll circulate these along with the slides after today, once we've managed to sort out those. But we're not recording the breakout rooms, but we do want to capture the information from there. So hold that thought, and I'll come back to that in a little while. So if you are a Twitter fan, you can join in the conversation using the hashtag LED events, and please do tag us. We are at Foundation Years.